Okay, so I'm going to have to speak up loudly here above the traffic noise. We're on a busy road here in Brislington, and where we are, it's just on the Bath Road here, St Philip's Marsh, this is called. This is the old Bristol Tram Company's base. It's a late Victorian building. You can see all the, you wouldn't call them hangars, depots, not sure what you call them, but you can see the buildings there where the trams used to be stationed, all around there. Now the reason why I'm videoing this was very important during the Blitz. Now let's just track back a bit. Okay, so 1940, Britain was being besieged, and the Germans were coming over in the daytime. They were attacking London at the end of August, and they were attacking Bristol, and particularly they were coming to Bristol. It was a manufacturing centre of aircrafts and aero engines up in Filton, as well as obviously the harbour and so on. They're also important. And on the 25th of September 1940, Luftflotte 2, the good old Luftflotte 2, Luftflotte 3, they came over at nearly midday to attack Bristol, and they came for the Bristol Aeroplane Company in Filton, because there they were building planes like the Bristol Blenheim, the Bristol Beaufighter, the Bristol the Beaufighter was just actually a prototype, so it was mainly the Blenheim at that time. But either way, they were frantically building those, and also radial engines. It was a centre for the manufacture of radial engines, and of course now that's Airbus and Rolls-Royce to this day. They came on over audaciously in daytime raid, and unfortunately a stick of bombs landed. So the workers were there, obviously. They got the air raid warning. They ran outside. They had air raid shelters on site, of course, large ones. I think they accommodated 50 per shelter. And so the workers ran outside then on the 25th of September, went into their shelters, and unfortunately a stick of bombs came down, and it landed directly, or one bomb anyway, landed directly between two of these shelters, and it caved them both in sideways, and it killed almost everybody. I believe one of the shelters with 50 people, 4 people got out alive. One of them was a 16-year-old lad who had been working in the factory there. And I've heard mixed reports about this. Some say that there are bodies still interred there, like a mass grave, but I haven't been able to confirm that. Maybe if anyone knows about that, they can tell me. That would certainly be unusual if that is the case. But either way, it was a devastating raid. I believe 136 people in total lost their lives, including something like over 50 people in those shelters, and particularly one of those that got badly caved down. But anyway, going back to here. So what happened to the trams? Why am I looking at those? Well, we had a very thriving tram network in Bristol. Over 350 trams, I believe, electrically operated trams were running. An extensive network, okay. And it was an excellent service, much better than a first bus, which is just about to go by here. There we are. Okay, let that one go by, it's a bit noisy. Unfortunately, 1941, and we're talking about a night raid now, Good Friday, April 1941, bombs came down just over there. You might be able to see in the distance the Showcase Cinema. There was the generator house, and that was what powered the whole of the network, electrically run network, and it was totally destroyed by those Luftwaffe bombs. And that was the end of the tram system. It never ran again, sadly, after that, even though it could have done. There was damage to the tracks as well around Bristol. They were quite extensively damaged. But it could have been repaired. But with the post-war austerity, it never was. And, Good Friday, 1941. Thank you, Luftwaffe. As for the tracks, incidentally, if you go to the old church in St Mary Redcliffe near the centre of Bristol, a famous church, there's still some of the tracks preserved that were thrown into the church when some bombs kind of blew them there at some point during the war. It's all still council property. It's now actually a council depot where they repair various council vehicles, like that one just going by now. And incidentally, during the recent pandemic, just up here, we can't see it because of the wall, on this council land, they set up a large morgue that, one of those temporary morgues that were used, were intended to be used for all the mass COVID victims. Of course, there weren't any, so not one single body went to that particular morgue. But anyway, that's just another taste of Bristol in the Blitz from Benjo.